I had the opportunity to look at persuasive selling, which for me, I feel was a very engaging class. And that's the beauty of running retail sales training with people with a lot of experience, a lot of real life examples will come into play. And we were able to look at how product knowledge, but from a different point of view. Because I remember, I recall yesterday when I was looking at faces of people and I said, oh, product knowledge, I'll be like, but we went a step further to say it's not just about knowing the products, but as salespeople, the information must constantly be translated into what is useful for us. So we were able to, recognize features, and we looked at how to translate features into benefit for the target customers that we have. Then we look at customer decision process. That was also a very engaging point. I remember Philip, pushing, the idea that some of these might be, the steps are okay. However, they might overlap at some point. But I also remember Oliver telling us about heuristics. Sometimes a couple of these things has happened days before, then we just add the remaining processes at that point in time. So we talked about, we use impulse buying as an example for that. Okay, we then went into the persuasive selling format itself, where we looked at the 5 steps. Where we looked at the 5 steps of persuasive selling format. Who wants to give a shot at those 5 steps?
So I think the 5 steps, we have summary of the situation. We have stating the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how it works. Reinforcing the key benefits.
Yeah.
And also suggesting.
Yes. So closing and suggesting next steps. So summary of the situation is very important. Let me just quickly recap for those of us that, in fact, to recap, who wants to help us with summary of situation? Definitely, maybe from Southwest team. What was your takeaway from summary of the situation? Just for the benefit of those that could not join us yesterday. Southwest team.
So summary of the situation, that has to do with the major reason for the meeting. So you need to make it very clear.
I've not heard what I'm looking for, so go on. When you think about summary of situation, what are you looking at? What are the elements? Why is it important?
And to me, it is very important because if the message is not clear.
Whose message?
The reason for meeting, for example, if I'm meeting a distributor, for example,
Mm-hmm.
what is the objective of the meeting?
Okay.
So you have to be clear. So making it clear, knowing the reason why we are meeting, that is the major thing.
So if you recall, there's a step 0, which is having your call objectives. Are you missing it with summary of the situation? Who wants to help? If anybody wants to help. From any north, from Lagos, team Lagos, team north.
I just feel on to just give a summary and maybe not really break it down. I feel, to the best of my understanding, summary of the situation has to do with getting to help the listener get interested. You understand in what you have, in what your proposal actually is. First and foremost, you need to come up with something that will help the listener, will help the customer get interested, receive you you understand. I think the you know all the message, the proposal put together has to be something that will help the listener or help the customer get that willingness to listen to you and receive you. I think that should follow that story.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Okay, I think the way you broke it down was to say what's the current condition of the customer. Give examples that, if you're using a case of an OCA whose focus is university, even though yes, he wants profit, but the profit is to gather money to return to school. So you need to dig to understand the current situation where you'll be able to know that this thing, once you hit that point, the person's interest is aroused in what you want to discuss. You need to feel into their shoes, what's their current situation, then what are the limitations they can face, more or less like doing a little SWOT analysis of the situation, and then what are the benefits inherent in that thing for them. So those are like the comments of...
Fantastic, thank you. Caleb, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, just what he has just mentioned. More of the foreseeable limitations.
Yeah.
When you need to identify why is this person actually not doing that product.
Yeah.
Like the case study we saw yesterday, the 85 gram.
Yeah.
Limiting it that hawkers are not interested much on it. So these are some of the situations you look, and then the need, what's actually the need.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for that. Thank you for your contribution. I think you guys all put it, succinctly from by saying this is where you are empathizing. You are trying to understand the customer, the current situation of the customer. We had a couple of case studies yesterday, which I was happy that the Lagos team was able to help us figure out. Say, there was a case where you are already familiar, like the case the Southwest team did, right? Those that were selling gala to Alajimo. And then there's a case of Payless where you're meeting them for the first time, right? So, and one of the things, and I'll come to the role plays, one of the things I liked, of course you guys are veteran salespeople, is that when you are new, when you are meeting somebody for the first time, the way you summarize the situation or the way you summarize it is different from when you've known the person before, right? You saw the difference in those case studies yesterday. So, putting yourself in the shoes of the customer, like we said, PSF is very customer-centric. Putting yourself in the shoes of the customer is where the current summary of the situation entails. So you are looking for a lot of information. Where you want to generate, like Uwa said, is there an interest in this? Before you even start saying, oh, let me launch, is there an interest? So we want to know, is there an interest? Is the buyer interested? Because sometimes you are with a customer, you just know the atmosphere is not the right time. You either adjourn and say you come back, or you ask more probing questions about it. For example, the case the Lagos team did yesterday, we could see Jade asking a couple of probing questions to the Payless manager, just to know, because they are most likely meeting for the first time. But we also saw that even before that case, a lot of research had gone into it just to have a couple of things. So summary of the situation is where I think a lot of the work, it can be tricky, has to be done. For some, a lot of research. For example, I also remember Felix's intro. He said, my boy told me that you are not buying 85 grams. What does that mean? You have reviewed with your sales team. They've told you about this customer. Most likely you've asked a couple of questions. You were even the one telling him about the store he's trying to open in Kano, because you've done some research work, right? So that is where summary of the situation is. So you want to understand where that customer is so that you can generate a need. So, to Caleb's point, why is he not able to meet that need? And then, hopefully, you are looking for an opportunity because your proposal is trying to solve this limitation targeted at the need, which is one of the things I think I saw a lot yesterday. Then you state the idea, which was very straightforward. Explain how it works. This is where you say a lot more things. Who is doing what? I think it was Team East. Yeah, where Felix was saying, we are going to give you a lot of support. Do this, do that. I also heard Team Lagos saying things like, we're going to bring merchandisers that will help you drive foot traffic. This is where you explain all the mechanics of your idea of the initiative, okay? And then reinforce key benefits. Pick one or two top benefits that is connected to the need you have identified, and then you close. On that close, we talked about direct close, we talked about alternate close, we talked about telling a story and different types of closes. Like I said, overall, the most important thing is that you don't only just know this for yourself, you need to retrain your people. So you need to keep using it yourself. I also like the case where we were also using it to sell to management, which was was one of the epic stuff, because I'd never seen that kind of role play before, but it was really good, where Oliver assumed the role of GM or director, and Philip sold to him. Before I move into objection handling, just my take on, and like I said, we're going to watch the video again. One of the things that I saw that we all did well was, for some reason, even though I was expecting that all of us would, the summary of situation was very good across the whole team. So it showed that we had researched, or maybe because of the case, right? It showed that we had researched. Number one, before the actual practical role play, I thought you guys gave a very good, from a strategy point of view, how are we going to tackle this problem? I think everybody did a very good business strategy. So please, let's give ourselves a round of applause for that. I was very impressed by the quality of ideas. So the summary of the situation was very good for all the team. What I didn't hear for some team was the idea. We mumbled and for some of you, you wanted to state it. In fact, I remember what leading Jade on to say, what is the idea you have for me? Right? Because he was waiting for it. I've agreed to some of the situation we have aligned. So what is the idea you have for me? So I think that place is where we mumbled it. It was there, but we just kind of, and that's why I was saying that you have to say, this is my idea with a pause. Why? Because you want it to, don't let us get it twisted, okay? This is why I'm here today. This is the reason I'm here. I want you to buy a truck of Gala 85 gram. It's 7,500 cases in a truck. Or I want you to put Supreme in your own freezer. We want to launch with you in your store with Supreme. Right? And it's clear. So that it's just like the inverted pyramid of communication. The example they used to give is that, imagine somebody wants to break a bad news to you. Then the person first goes around the bush. You'll be like, man, what? Somebody died. Just say it first so that they can then explain. I don't want to listen to that explanation. But when you start talking about everything before you break it down, you want to kill the person. Right? So it's inverted. It's also, I know most of you don't interview anymore, but job interviews. When I'm interviewing people for a job, the first thing I want to hear is, just tell me the first sentence. Then you can explain later. So that in case I'm carried away and at least I've heard that first sentence. So it's like, they call it the headline method of communication. For some of you, you receive a lot of mails every day. Some of you, it's only the subject you read. You get the gist. You might not have time to open it and read it, but you remember that this mail came in that said we should ship 85 grams, something like that. So it's like the headline, and that's what State the Idea does. Because you give the headline, and I will now explain to you. Okay, just in case customer comes before I explain, at least you've known why I'm here. So I saw that a lot of you put your idea into explaining how it works. And but I think for Philip, he was very upfront because his one was, I'm here because I need 100. It was clear from the beginning. I need 100 freezers. And then we saw explain how it works, how it broke down. I think everybody also did very well with explaining how it works. You know, from the 85 gram sale to telling Payless to have Supreme in their own freezers and the like. Then the close. I saw a lot of different types of closes yesterday. One that was a call out for me that I noted was Phillips close. So the director was like, of course, I cannot give you anything here. And then he went back and told him, so sir, when should I? So let's have a key next step. So that, okay, he said, give me 2 or 3 weeks. So that in 2 or 3 weeks' time, in case you don't come back to me, I will come back to you. Than leaving it open-ended. So I thought that was good. There was a style that I think the team Southwest used, which was really good, although, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Alaji. Did you tell Alaji exactly what you wanted to ship to him?
Yeah, to make use of my own freezer, because we don't have freezers for now. They want to start to use our freezers first.
Okay, so the idea was not that you wanted to sell any quantity of product.
No,
it was to align
for the fact that yes, we want to begin to use your freezers.
I think that's okay. Now it's clearer. It's clearer to me. Again, because I had an assumption that you were coming to sell. But if the idea was to align on use my freezer for use your freezer for my product, I think that was very clear. That was very clear. So in the end, we look at different case studies, and I think it was really good. Was really good. I've not seen the score that you people gave yourself. Maybe because there was no time anyway. I don't want us to waste too much time on this. But today, I want us to quickly go through objection handling. Let's hope. I'll rush it. But the materials will be available because you like I said, you will use it to train other people. So let's go into objection handling. All of us handle objections every day. In fact, I read somewhere that if you cannot accept rejection, there's one profession you should not go into. It's called sales. Because more than half of the time, they will tell you no. I think it was somebody said he has never talked to a lady and the person told them no. He has never gotten a lady before. Amechi. But customer have told you no. Yes. Yes. I'm sure the first time you got into sales and customer told you no, you feel like, man, they owe me. Yeah. So when you come into sales, you can visit 25 stores and only 10 will be productive. It means like 15 people told you no, or that they are not ready for you. So objections is part of our daily, it's part of our job. And having the emotional strength to take objection is one thing every salesperson has to develop, as long as you are on that profession. Okay? So when we talk about objections, now we go a bit academic. What are we talking about? A 1 word, 2 words of objection. Who wants to support? Yeah, Philip. Feedback. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, feedback. I just wanted to write this down. Forgot my pen.
Areas of concern.
Areas of concern. Oh, okay. I forgot I have marker now. Okay, so I had feedback. Areas of concern.
I would even prefer pushback.
Pushback. Pushback.
Yeah. You're not accepting it.
Yeah, pushback.
Rejection.
Rejection.
Opposition.
Yeah. This is all
Disagreement.
disagreement. I'll write it and I'll ask you another question. Disagreement of your idea. So you gave me this idea, I don't agree with it. So Objections are queries, questions. This is very correct. In fact, this is textbook stuff. This is really practical field. But they are like arguments or disagreements. Concern. Somebody said concern. Area of concern. Daddy, you've been checking my slides. No. So, who said opposition? Amechi. So opposition to when you do your PSF, so you came with this great idea, the great recommendation, somebody just says, see, it's a no. I'm just telling you no. And it can come in form of questions, in form of arguments or disagreement, opposition to that idea that you have. Now, are objections a bad sign of, let's say, your PSF? No? Why? Why do you think objection is not a bad sign?
Well, it shows that the person was listening to you and that you can still be able to convince the person if you're able to handle all the areas of concern that you have.
Fantastic. It's a ray of hope. Means, at least you are listening to what I was saying. That's why you can say no.
It's a no for me too.
Okay.
So I think why it's a no is it shows that the potential customer has buy-in, has interest. So it also gives you the opportunity to sell your products.
So there's opportunity for benefit there. And it shows an initial interest. Yes, sir. Okay, so it's not a bad sign because it's a feedback mechanism, right? Correct.
I want to stay on the fence.
So yeah.
I want to stay on the fence, not a no, not a yes.
Okay, it's fence.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will now go back to disagreement.
Okay.
So, let me play a scenario. When I came into Lagos, so there was a customer that I kind of like, okay, I passed through this outlet and I discovered that it's a good place for me to sell. On getting there, my predecessors over like years already had issues there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said disagreement, and then I'm going to stay on the fence. Because we're still in talk up till now. He wants some previous issue to be resolved before we go forward.
So you are saying objection is neither a bad or a good sign?
Yeah. It depends on what is coming in.
Okay. So who thinks so that means you people here say it's a good sign. Sorry, the name again. David. So David is saying it's neither here nor there on the fence. So who thinks yes, it's a bad sign? Yes, that objection is a bad sign.
I would want to say, but I need to understand if objection is put no. If it is no, then it's a bad sign. But if it's
Okay. Yeah, no, because objection can actually be, see, all this one is big English. It's just a no. And it might be an initial no, it might be a final no, but it's a no at some point, right? So, good. So if you think it's a no, why do you think it's a bad sign?
if it's overruled, it's not a bad sign.
Yeah, if it's not overruled, if you can overrule it, then it's not a bad sign. But I'm trying to push Caleb to say, okay, if you think objection is a bad sign, why?
So sometimes it could be a bad sign for that's why I said sometimes.
Yes.
Because he said we need to go and train. Sometimes it could be a bad sign for a new salesman.
Yeah, so what do you think is a bad sign?
On board
Uh-huh.
that does not understand. Immediately you give him that first start of getting
Uh-huh.
a new a new distributor. And he just comes in. I want to sell because please carry
Okay.
away.
Uh-huh.
Mold don't grow. No problem. And immediately that person leaves that place. The first thing that comes into his or her mind is what I'm going to face in this.
So let me put it in one word. It can be frustration. Jide, I think I saw your hands up.
So for this aspect of frustration, it will also be a kind of a leeway forward for you for your next prospect. So, I'll pick on what you said.
So that's why you are trying to say, like, opportunity for benefit.
Yes, so because he has gone to a customer that said, because he has bought previously a green mode, so he already has a no. Even if Lex come till tomorrow, he will just tell you no. So getting to the next prospect, you already know, okay, maybe go back to your research. How do I defend this issue of mode growth for a no? So you know how to come back.
Fantastic.
Prospects.
That's a good point that I will note, and because we'll come back to it as part of objection, to say, okay, you get objection, but you then use that to anticipate the next objection for the next person, then you build it into your presentation so that it doesn't even come up at all. Fantastic. Okay.
Sir, I'm just wondering, is it possible for you to meet a potential customer without objection handling? There must be an objection.
It's part of the process. It's possible.
Yeah, you know, it's
It's possible.
No, it's not possible. Can I explain further?
please go ahead.
Now, you are meeting a potential customer, a customer you've not met before.
They are meeting for the first time.
For the first time. The customer will ask you questions. The customer will throw some questions at you, and those questions are objections. Do you understand?
Yeah.
By the time it's okay, this is 75 CL, the customer will tell you that, okay, how much is 75 CL? Let's say 100 naira. The customer will tell you that Gosi is also a spring water and is sold for 90 naira. Why is your own 100? That is an objection. So there's no how you meet a potential customer without an objection. I don't think so.
So that's if you're saying objections are questions.
No, that's
Yeah, but it's a question.
They are questions, they are concerns.
Objections are feedbacks.
They are not.
I'm sorry. If you are saying objections are questions, that's where we can say you will always get
No, I
objections.
think we really need
Yeah.
to understand objections, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Understand it.
Wait. Guys, 1 second, please. 1 second. Okay. Objections are... So theoretically, let me answer your question first. Theoretically, it's possible to say you meet a prospect. Theoretically, it's possible. Now, when we go back to our customer decision process, if a customer has done his or her own research, do you get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying theoretically. Most times our customers are lazy. They don't even know anything. They still have questions. And to borrow one of Jide's points from yesterday, some features are just there such that the benefit is almost equal to the features. So theoretically, somebody might have done their research and said, I'm just waiting for where to buy gala. Or I'm waiting for the gala person because I don't want to buy for. And you meet that person for the first time and say, before you even talk, the person has said yes. Theoretically, that's the answer. Most times, you don't meet people like that where, the probability that you meet people like that where your objective for them when you are meeting them for the first time and their own objective just align. Bams. So that's what I'm saying, theoretically, it can be possible. Right? But most times, even when the person has been waiting for this gala, you might want to sell 5 cartons and they just want to buy 1. There will always be objections. Right? So, which is why I'm saying, as salespeople, they will always, objection is part of our life. Even the person that will eventually say yes, there will be questions. There will be disagreement. There will be more probing and things like that. Right? But is there any other one that feels it's not a bad sign? No, it's a bad sign. From what Felix explained, it can be frustrating. What else? Taiwo.
It could be a bad sign in a situation whereby the salesman has given up approaching the customer.
Exactly. So, because see, it can also be a bad sign to just let me just give up. I don't think this one is ready. And at the end of the day, so David is almost, maybe David sneaked at my slide, but he did not sneak very well. So it's still on the fence. But the answer to the question is both a good sign and a bad sign. Right? So, being on the fence, is correct, but I was expecting him to frame it different to say, it's both good and bad. So I have one leg here. But what David did was just to stand on the fence. Neck no there anywhere. But to your point, it's both a good and a bad sign. Of course, it's a bad sign because for an average sales, it slows you down. You have 20 stores to cover, 25 stores to cover in a day, right? Maybe you have planned, 10 minutes per store, 15 minutes per store. Then that's when this guy started asking you plenty of questions. Okay, but you do buy this thing before now. Now 5 cartons you dey buy. Why you want to reduce that to 3 today? No, this one. And you want to meet your objective. So it slows you down as a sales rep. Number 2, it may create bad feeling. To Felix's point, after you are hoping. So today in the morning meeting, which we'll soon come into, Jade is pushing everyone that, 85 gram, 1,000 carton this month, right? Maybe you say, okay, I want to win the prize and I want to meet this stuff. This person that had agreed before just came up with an objection overnight. It creates bad feelings. Then it also shows poor thinking or lack of professionalism. When you go as a salesman, especially a first-time salesman, or even us today, we want to go and present to higher level people, an investor. I feel, let me share a personal example of this. So I run a startup, and some of you that know the startup, you need to pitch to investors every now and then. Every time I pitch to an investor and I get a no, which is what you get like 99.9% of the time, I feel, demoralized is not the word. We've passed it. I just feel like maybe everything I'm doing is just bullshit. I question myself. I question what I'm building. I question everything about this stuff. Because my last startup, when we raised our final investment, we pitched to 169 investors. Only about 16. So we got over 100 no. And this is people you prepare emotionally and spend minimum of 30 minutes to defend why an investor should come. So sometimes as a salesperson too, you've prepared, you've done your future, you've done your benefit. Just imagine all these things that we did yesterday. All of us put head together, come up with that. These are concepts. Then you take it to the field. The first thing you heard is boom. You will now be questioning the intellectual capacity of every sales leader in this room. Here we no get sense. Why? So it might show some poor thinking on our behalf. So that's why it might be a bad sign. Then we may not, we're not talking to the decision maker. I remember when I first started selling, I will go and you will talk. Then after talking, the person will say, Madam, no deal. No, that's a bad sign. Because the first thing is, Auntie, well done. Oh, how you there? Madam there? Why you there ask? Because I want to say something to give you. No worry, if you tell me. Then we'll go on. But not that, good afternoon. Una they sell gala? No, they sell. Why you know they sell now? This one. Then you start and say. Then the lady will not even be nodding. Most of them will nod because they're not decision makers. They say, wow, fantastic. So he make I drop like 5 cartons. I for like but madam no day. After 15 minutes of talking. So it's just bad sign. You've wasted time and the like. So it may also be a negotiation tactic. I was trying to think about who used it yesterday to negotiate during their role play. No customer did. I think who almost wanted to do that, but maybe not. Because some people will just tell you no. They will agree or they've been bought. But they just want to use that to get something new. Right? Which will force you, the salesperson, to maybe cut down on your own profit or need you to cut down on your own time, need to go back to management and the likes. But it can also be a good sign. Like everybody said. It shows that the customer is listening. There's an opportunity. But the fact that you even asked me a question or said no. 1 second.
It's interesting. Before you cross to the side.
Yeah. On the bad side.
On the negative side. So, as a new salesman, we've trained the new salesman. He goes out. Let's say it's for 7 customers. It was a no. And let me put myself as the new salesman.
Okay.
And I think that, like, is it the way I'm presented? And, that's another bad sign is you drop your self-esteem. Like,
Yeah.
you can't face them. Just like a meeting that said, no woman never say no to them. I don't know, you can borrow with that power.
Then maybe the first customer that said no was a woman.
So I'm feeling that like, so how do you kind of can pull, a salesman might not open up to the manager.
Yeah.
You know, like, you just feel like I have a bad day, and after like 10 people, you just drive home. And what's that? So how do you?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely, I think with objection handling, we'll definitely get there. But that's a great question. And that's why it's a bad sign, because some objection can end your day, to David's point. Especially for we managers, which maybe the number of customers we meet per day is maybe 1 or 2, right? And then you meet the first distributor. The way the person even wasted your time, talk to you, tell you to come back, you just be like, whoa, till tomorrow. Not be every year. You call your people on the field. Oh yeah, you people meet your target. Maybe you plan to work with a sales rep before. From there, you are gone. Right? You just be like, not today. Okay? Because it's not only salespeople that have this. But one of the first points to your question would be, and that's one of the reasons we do objection handling, is to just know that this is part of our job. And even though we are human beings and we feel that way, we can even go home, express your feelings. It's okay. You can even go home. But you just know that that's part of the job. And that, okay, if I want to undo this, this is how I'm supposed to do. Number one, the first step in handling objection is to acknowledge it. That is just part of your work. Sometimes acknowledging it might take a whole day of sleeping. And it's fine. You know, I was, one of the things, I'm a strong advocate for the sales profession. Because I've not done any other job apart from selling. I studied engineering, but I don't get job for engineering. So, I mean, I'm an alluta person for sales. The emotional burden that an average salesperson, manager, goes through needs to be studied by psychologists. All this mental health that we have been shouting in the past 5-10 years, they should go and study salespeople's mental health. And if I have money, I push Oris to some point, I'm going to have a mental health solution or care center for salespeople. Because these are people that they just wake up in the morning and they're starting their day, and you have to tell yourself, I will get no today. Sometimes, I remember one of our sales reps that was talking to a customer, sold a particular product, and the customer slapped the salesperson. And the salesperson cannot, you can't fight back. Sometimes, they will just say, carry him. Now, he said that's bad product. Anything can happen to you as a salesman. Number 2, our salespeople get attacked, their cash stolen. Our salespeople, you see, they have cash, a family member is dying, and they must not touch the cash. And when they touch the cash, it will land them in the trouble. That is what the sales profession entails. And you think that person does not need some emotional support? And which was why when Felix said yesterday, when he was saying about picking the wife, first, somebody that recognizes my job as a sales person. Because, don't let me go into that. But yes, it's both a good and a bad sign. So why do customers object? Prices.
Just like what you said, it's a tactics for them.
Yeah, number 1, it might be a tactic. Some of them just say, how David could just come. I could just say yes. Make I find in trouble small.
Who did you form?
Let me just cause problem. Okay?
You will tell me to move, I want to pack this.
Tactic, yeah. Go first. Every time now you just come, I'll give you my money. Let me first give you small problem. Yeah.
Sorry, before I...
Okay.
I was reading that before.
Okay.
I think... Yeah, we accept the fact that it has a bad side. Mm-hmm. But probably because of some industry I've worked, we personally believe that when a customer does not object or speak out his mind, goes away, he might even bad market you to 10, 20 other people. So it's from them talking that you actually know where your issue is. That's why the bad side of it, I think, is more a psychological effect on the salesman, but for the business is always positive. We were at that point in UAC, they were rejecting our gala, it's breaking, the taste is this. It gives us the reason to go back to factory to keep re-engineering or virtually all through last year until now we can't even produce enough for them to have. But if they are kept quiet, they are not talking. You bring the collect, it's spoils, you come to take it, you won't know what the problem is. So I will still tilt more, apart from the mental psychological effect, but for a business, the feedback, even if the person has no reason, maybe just for you to know that, well, some people will not agree for you anyway. Maybe they follow the mantra, don't agree for anybody. So, so then, for the reason, some have had bad experience, some, you know, like you also said, maybe you came at the wrong time. You understand? Somebody who just had a bad day and the last thing on his mind is to buy. So, bad experience, wrong day.
Yeah. Fantastic. Who wants to add to it? Let me move a bit faster.
We have lack of trust.
Okay, so objection might be lack of trust.
Yeah, lack of trust. Like I mentioned earlier on, you know, so most customers are sensitive to price. You want to let you know what's up. The price, you know.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So, yeah. So, when we relate this back to the tactical nature of selling, right? Customers will object when, see, your benefit is not specific enough. One of the things we learned from PSF, when we're doing features and benefits, that the feature or the feature versus the benefit that you will use for a hawker is different from the feature that you use to sell classic to Dangote, right? So if the benefit is not specific enough for that customer, they are not seeing it, they might want to question or object. Let's use that one. So benefits are not tailored enough to the need of that specific customer. Your proposal is not believable, which talks about, you know, trust and, you know, that kind of issue. Then the person is not the decision maker. Of course, that's another reason they will object. I'm not the decision maker. This is not about me. Then the customer believes they can get a better deal. It's tactics, to David's point. It's just tactics. It's a negotiation tactics for the customer. So knowing this helps a salesperson to just reorient themselves about what objections are. And this might reduce our emotional issues on objection. Because to Bjorn's point, it's almost impossible that you will talk to a new customer and they'll just say, welcome, I've been looking for you. Can you just drop 100 cartons? You know, it will always come. So what is objection handling? So objection handling is finding out the real or the true objection. You understanding why it's a problem and collecting enough information to handle it. So there are 3 ways we can handle objection. So you can eliminate objection by changing the customer's perspective. Maybe what you were saying, the understanding of your idea or of how it works is not what you were trying to push to them. So you help them, you know, you reorient them and help them change their perspective. Or you reframe your proposition in a way that it better suits their needs. So maybe you used a particular feature and benefit, but it didn't work. You put it back, which is why in our PSF, when you've not seen the need and the limitation, an opportunity for benefit, there's no point going to the next step of stating the idea. Okay? So that is why this is very important. Then you reinforce key benefits to offset possible negative effect. Reinforcing key benefits, and because a sales process can be long, yesterday the average was about 7 minutes of talking. To an average customer, you see that's a long time, especially in the open market. They don't forget what you talk. They don't, but they say, no, profit, no, but Ghana, let me just tell you now, say this 85 grams, now times 2 profit. You talk, I know you, no worry, bring up. Sometimes you just need to reinforce the key benefits, okay? Now, there are 2 types of objection, and you will agree with me. I wanted to use fake and original. But there is a true objection, and then there's a false objection. We've mentioned a bit of false objection, like David gave an example. But a true objection is the real reason behind the customer's concern. There's another false objection. It's just an excuse. It's just a way to say get out. Or it's just a way to elongate this discussion. Like David's example, come up for that place. I want park. How is that still going to be an issue for you to buy 10 cartons or 20 cartons? So there are some excuses. They are not real concerns. They're just a way to tell you to move or to go. Now, let's assume you now know that, okay, this is even a true objection. It's a real objection. It's really important for you to solve this objection. Some of them can be easy, and some of them can be extremely difficult. So an easy objection would be the one that maybe the person did not hear what you said about the reinforcing key benefit. Or guy, I tell you, say this one you go make 1.4 versus the 600 way they make before. Ah, okay, very easy. Most times it's because they did not hear some of the things you are saying. But there are some difficult objections you have to come back. That one, there is no, or you have to call your boss. Some of you have salespeople under you. There are some objections that they can never handle it. It's you that will handle it. Not because, sometimes you are more experienced on it, but you have a power to do one or two things that they don't have the power to do. But what you will do, so let me go back to Felix's example yesterday. His opening statement was, my boy tell me, say X, Y, and Z. Maybe your boy has collected enough information to feed you. Then you have to come to undo a difficult objection. There are some objections that you also can't undo. You have to go and call maybe your director or because they can then go, like the case study on Payless. If there was a strong objection there yesterday, another person with more power and understand budget can say, okay, we'll do more because they have that power. So there's difficult objection. And this kind of objection, they are fact-based. You also agree. You agree it's a true objection. So for Payless yesterday, if they had told you that, no, you see this freezer that we have, we also have a directive from above that no other thing should be there. Or it's also your competitor that gave us. So your idea yesterday was to go there to say, shake hands. Use your freezer for our ice cream. It was a very good conversation yesterday. You got it. But let's say the objection was, no, this freezer, we also have, Coca-Cola gave us or whatever gave us, and they cannot see your product there. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, let me come back to this. So it might mean, so it's a fact-based objection. Or, it's owned by Payless, but management don't tell us. So it might mean you need to fix a meeting with management above to get it done. So most times, we salespeople put ourselves under some pressure sometimes. And yesterday, you people say it's target that caused it. But it's always very important to recognize difficult objections and handle them accordingly. Now, I wish we could have more time to engage, but let me run through this. So, when do you handle objection? You can handle it in advance. That was why I was, to David's point, you got this feedback or this objection from this person about mode. You use that into your pitch in the next customer that you are going. So it's an objection that you will face, but you've anticipated it and you've put it into your next store. Then you can handle some immediately. Easy objections can be handled immediately. Is that you were not, maybe I forgot to tell you about this information or this benefit. You can. Then difficult ones, I just explained, you will come later. I like to emphasize this, especially the later part, to just show that, see, even if you don't handle it now, it's still okay, as long as you have all the information that you need to handle it later. Now, how do you handle objections? So you need to determine the real objection, the original objection, understand it, verify it, and then handle it accordingly. So let's look at how do you determine real objection. I'll spend a lot of time here, and the other ones I'll just breeze through because of our time. Sorry, let me just check. 12. It's 12 o'clock. What?
Yes.
Are we still okay?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, good. Now, how do you determine the real objection? The first thing when you get objection, and I think it came up severally yesterday, you need to acknowledge it. Objection handling is not the time to sell. You have spoken before. You presented it with your PSM. Now I'm saying, boom. Objection handling is a time to first acknowledge, okay, we've listened. Then there's a part that I love the most, which is psychological anyway. It's called add to list. And this, before you say, so just add to the list. When I was learning objection handling, it was very important that when a customer objects, you write it down. You just pick your pen and write it down. And then you ask the question, do you have any other one? You need to exhaust everything the person has to say. Until the person says, that one no reach you. The theory where I tell you, you know, it no reach you. Because our Nigerian customer will hardly tell you, no, that is it. That is all. They just tell you the two. What I just tell you now, you don't do one.
Go stop
Go stop the two first. They ask me say any other one. So those are the nuances. But let me tell you an experience. So at my first startup, we have an app that helps retailers buy products. One Agbero caught our van, and then they called me in Mushin. And then I went there. When I got there, of course, my delivery guy is already fighting and causing problem. When I got there, I now asked the Agberos that what's the problem. They now told me he didn't have, I won't call them Agbero, local government. Local government. They now told me he didn't have one sticker or something. That, that I didn't have one sticker or something like that. So, and I said, okay. And it was impulse. I just brought out my notepad and started writing because we need to have more vans on the field and I don't want them to be disturbing them. And we really don't know the things you need to have. So, for me, impulse, I was just like, so what kind of stuff? He told me the first one. I said, is there any other thing that we need to have that we don't have? He listed like 2 or 3. After, as I was taking notes, one other one was not telling the other one, even your guy, they write with you with the talk. He said it in Yoruba. Oh, guy gone come, got and sole. He was debut. They felt listened to. They was not. I wrote about 10 things. He said, no. In fact, one of them was now eventually who we use to get the Mushin local government stuff. But that stuff stuck to my head that even your boss, they write. That means that what we are saying is important. But you come here, you are fighting me. So, and that's objection handling. Is to say, I hear you, I acknowledge what you are saying. Is there any other one? And I've done it a couple of times, especially as manager. When I go with my sales rep to a customer, sometimes I'm not writing it. But that act of like, oh, madam, any other thing? Say, I bet maybe tell them for office. So I say, no problem. It's a way to feel heard. I'm not saying you should go and use this one. It looks like it's a well-known tactic among, But the most important thing is that just reverse it and put yourself in the customer's shoes. You just feel heard, and it also happens. The person that taught me objection, they always use marriage to explain this or handle too much. At some point, I didn't not like objection handling class. But you always say you can use objection handling with your spouse. I don't know if I've ever used this because time not the day to use all those things. But I just imagine that my wife and then I ask, babe, any other thing? It will cause more fight. But then it will just be rolling. But the idea is that you need to check if the customer has voiced out everything. especially for we managers. Of course, let's teach we managers. There are some things they will not open to your rep. So when you come, they tell you more things because they just feel you understand more. So you want to exhaust all the objections. Then you prioritize. So identify the most important one. Some of them can tell you only one. That is it, okay, because the shelf life too short. I know if you buy that one carton. I be that one truck where you talk. Okay? Or they will give you 1 or 2 or 3. You want to ensure that you have the one, 2 is too much, to be honest, that you can solve, that will cause them to shift their blame. So after giving you 2 or 3, and say, madam, I understand, say, anyway, this is what I use. I say, as per say, say, no, maybe a company, and I know be God. Which one will I solve now? Maybe say, at least you go shift leg. So it's a supposed test. So suppose this was not an issue. Will you, I mean, suppose they will tell you, see, you see this particular one, if you solve that, I go listen. So you want to know what the real objection is, not the fake one. The fake one they'll give them, they park where will they park this thing? I know they like that kind of thing. Because of that, I don't get time for you. Go repark there. That is just a fake objection. But the fact-based objection that, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I have limited cash. Or I still have your product, this thing is not moving as fast as I want. Or to Amechi's point, some go, we check, what did you call that thing yesterday? The 50-15 naira one. Now, as told with the chop for a year. Even though I would tell our governor to come and arrest Amechi for insulting Ogun State people that we don't have money. Okay, so there are some fact-based, market-based stuff to say, people are not asking. The last 5 cartons I bought from you, go into my warehouse. Till it did here. These are fact-based objections. And then you want to know exactly what it is. Please.
I think, maybe my own experience, there are some objections that will stay there. You can't move from there. I believe. Let me give the example.
Please.
I was looking for a second Supreme franchisee for Ibadan at the point. And apart from the general objection, I'm afraid of electricity cost, initial investment. So somebody, just like currently MD saying, let's look at people already in that business and use them. So I got a contact from the fellow regional manager at FAN. So he gave me one woman, said, don't mention my name, but she's like the biggest in Ibadan. And when I got there, I realized how big she was. She was their former national sales manager. I said, me, ever come to Supreme? I formed the policy with FAN. I formed this one. It's like a sin for her to do, even though she's retired. The compound she's using in front of the University of Ibadan, FAN compound, they give her truck, give her. So she said, if you want to talk about Gala, fine. But Supreme, even if I'm not doing FAN again, I can never do so. It's like she sold to FAN. So the FAN can't believe that at one, it's just that UAC saying Oluyemi left us now and he's selling FAN. You understand? There are just some like that. It's not about call your guy or bring somebody else. You already understand our standpoint. So I just had to shift the discussion to Gala. She has a talk show whether we can sell some Gala there. So that's her point. So she told me, even if I'm not selling FAN again, I will not do Supreme. I'm too much into FAN.
Yeah, so that takes us to the, yeah, please.
Since we know the reason why the person is objected, we can still use him. Probably he can bring in family that might want to be in that line. That's
like that's an idea of how to undo that kind of objection. But there are some things we won't even call it objection, because objection is, in PSF, after summary of the situation, is there bias interest? If it's yes, you then state your idea. Some is no. So what happens at that point is that you keep having that. It might not be your generation self that will cause that business to buy, because we have some distributors like that. When I was in P&G made them. They were like, some were even bicycle sales rep that became distributor. They became national distributor. You cannot bring anything non-P&G to them. But today they are selling everything. with time. So that's an objection that took like 5 years to solve, right? So the buyer interest, so that's our decision tree. The buyer, if it's still saying no, then you still need to keep going back to some of the situations to try to understand. And sometimes it's a difficult objection or it's a difficult situation. It might take years, it might take strategy and stuff like that. Yeah, please.
So, to Jide's scenario and James, so I'll just give 2 scenarios that happened. So, there's a distributor that has not been too long, but maybe last year. So, this is somebody like, everybody is not kind of like, you don't want to go and talk anything about Gala to her. Because as you are coming like this, you just look Gala. So, maybe I just got at the right time, that was when I went, and it happened. There's another one also at Oshodi. I carried everybody, we go. As 111 as we are going, she rejected all of us. By herself again, she picked the phone to call another person. So it's like, you understand that kind of scenario, like a lot of people just say, which kind of is bad?
Yeah.
So, pertaining to objection again, there was a salesman over, it's close to like 5 months, he has been telling me about a supermarket. A supermarket precisely. They refused picking up the store because they said their policy is 5 days payment, 1 week payment. And the guy said, bros, I shall carry because I will take the credit for office. And he knows he's losing sales in that supermarket. But he keeps going there almost every week, at least once in a week he will visit them. So he continues like that. Then he'll tell me, coincidentally, I just went to pick up something in that supermarket. So he has been telling me, so I talked to the manager and said, this thing is 4,400. You will not want to take more than 2. So you want me to, I said, guy, I just bought 1,500 inside my phone, my car, 1,500. I'll come and give you 8,800. After 3-4 days again, I'll drive 8,400. The guy had this and I said, guy, not true. Okay, we'll be doing it like this. We'll bring 2, we'll pay for 1. When he's coming for the other one, we'll not pay balance 1 and 1. That was how we started penetrating the areas. So at times, some objection, you need to hit the nail, continue. Well, even when the nail is there, you continue.
Yeah.
It will take time.
Yeah. So, I mean, David, thanks for sharing that. The truth is that, and that's why I said, under the type of object, let us always acknowledge. You know, we say people are too stubborn. There are difficult objections. Yeah, you don't give up, but acknowledge that this one is difficult. I don't know how long it took you to be able to convince. So the thing is that there will always be a bias, is there a buyer's interest? There will always be a situation and time that causes the buyer to have an interest. Maybe you wash soap that day or you don't wash soap. But the truth is that there will always be time. And that's why you need to keep going back. It might have been how you did your summary of the situation that day. You just hit a nail on the head and stuff. Like, for example, the last example you gave was so what you did was to reframe. You change the perspective. The way you have been looking at this transaction is one way. You help the person look at it. So because of 8,000 now, I go do back and forth. And you need this product. Right? So you help him or her to reframe their perspective about the situation. And of course, that happens. But let's go on. So when you get the real objection, the next thing is to try to understand it. Many times, we are quick to, especially new sales reps. Me, by the way a salesperson handles objection, I will know if they are experienced or not. A relatively non-experienced salesperson, immediately you give them objection, bam, he wants to answer or she wants to answer, without necessarily exhausting everything. Right? He just want to show you that, bam, at the talk, forget that thing. If you are talking me. Objection is not about our talking. It's about understanding, acknowledging. You will see that you experience people, sometimes you go and do all, let me even say your superiors. You have some problem with a particular store. Your boss will come and have, or a customer, your boss will come and solve the problem. Now because I'm my girl, if because I'm my girl, now why you answer? You can't make me look like I say I don't sabi my work. Not that. Some of these are just that you just listen to them. You try to understand this is their real objection. I know they buy this thing because see, I made the farm policy. I don't enter what they call it. Me and Kana, you don't. I don't enter a court with fan. And you see, an experienced salesperson will just skip. So you might want to understand the revision. Madam, does it mean that if you now start selling Supreme, fan will collect this land on stuff? They will collect it. Oh, okay. What you want to do is to understand the because it is while you are understanding. Some of you did that very well yesterday during your summary of the situation. You were using it to get more information. Just getting more information before you now use it. Okay, this is the information we use against the person. This person exhausts. You ensure that you understand what they mean by that real objection. I cannot do anything that is non-fan. So there are ways, and this is a communication thing, right? There are ways to kind of try to understand. Tell me more. Why won't you do anything apart from fan? This land, they bought it for me. I was the one that made the policy. I'm emotionally attached to them. This one. You just keep try to understand better. There are two things you will gain from the discussion. This is not the time to engage this man again. No waste our fuel, go. Let's go and look for someone else. Right? Because you have so much information. Like Jide was saying, she used a Yoruba word. I'm sure it's one deep Yoruba word that he used that, you cannot share. Right? To say, see, leave her now. Maybe, it might also be that in her lifetime, she will not do anything. Somebody else will take over. Me too, it might not be my lifetime that I will sell to you. And things like that. But what you will have done is that me, I used to have problem when I was doing trade marketing and I go and work with some regional managers. I used to have problem with them because they will tell me about an objection that they don't understand. Oh, no, that guy know they do. Why? Oh, the guy just know they do. I will now go to the person. Not that I will solve it, but I will now come out of that meeting having more information than you that you are in that region. I'll just be like, so what are you doing? Your work as a regional manager is to understand things. It says step might be saying, I won't cover 25 stores. You don't have 25 stores to cover. You're just supposed to lead a team, build a high performance team, and get more knowledge than these people. It's okay for you as a regional manager to spend one whole day with one customer trying to understand why or how you can do business with them. And it's in handling this kind of objection, in fact, one of the biggest tools we need to have as leaders, as sales leaders, is to handle objection. Because most of the time, you don't have account directly to you. Most of the times. Let's say you're a regional. Everybody in your region, every customer in your region has one sales rep or wholesale rep or something that is selling to them. Most times, you have to step in when there's a problem to handle such objections. So you need to understand you need to know how to really understand it. Then the next thing is to verify. To Jide's example, we want to say, let me speak it in English. Yoruba that is coming to my head. That, madam, so you are saying that nothing will over your dead body, you will not do anything. You say, yes, you got it. Over my dead body. You now say, okay. Wow. You now say, yeah, wow, now we're on the same page. You are just trying to, because sometimes you say, do you mean over your dead body you will never do anything apart from? I didn't say so. Sorry, but that was what I understood. I just wanted to verify that that's what you are saying. No, I didn't say so. But I'm just saying it's going to be. Because sometimes we think we have understood the real objection. But what we understood is false. It's not correct. So that's why it's okay to verify. Again, these steps are not things that you say, number one. These are things you build into you. As you move on. Then finally, you undo your objection. So handling the objection is PSF. Because what you will have done sometimes with objection handling is summary of the situation. Is to understand, now you have a deeper understanding and perspective from the customer. So you can put yourself in his or her shoes to now say, yes, let me now use the other stuff to do that. But, one thing I want to always say is that it's not okay to leave an objection unhandled. You must close, even if it means going to the madam in Jesus exam to say, okay, I've talked to my company, but this thing that you are asking, or this thing that you have told us, we acknowledge that it is, but we'll keep trying. But so that they don't expect you that you'll still come back or that. And if you cannot handle at that time, one thing you should also ingrain in your team is if there's an objection you can't handle, you can pack it. If they pack it, it means you write it down, and then you get enough information to pass it on to you, to the man or to your manager. You must never leave any objection unhandled or unclosed, right? There are some times that you just acknowledge that this is not the right time, the buyer's interest is not there, and you keep the cycle going. So, so this is, I don't think we will have enough time for role play, even though I would have loved us to do that. But, yeah.
This Jide's scenario.
Yeah. I would like to write a case on it anyway.
She say, I said I should go and close it.
Wait, what?
Like, you look at me and immediately, you from your case, I will use the way. Close the gate, Jerry. And he goes again. You still want me to go back and close it?
Yeah, so you don't need to. So again, like I said, it's a matter of the culture and principle of your sales organization. Closing it might not mean you've solved the problem.
Yeah.
Closing it might just be an acknowledgement that for now, we are not coming there again or something. So it doesn't have to be always positive. You know, it doesn't, because, see, you know, there are some things that if a new manager comes, so closing it might also be documenting. If you leave that place tomorrow, a new manager comes, does that person have an information to work with? Remember that, you know, like I shared with you yesterday, these are policies, no, these are ideas and steps that were carved out by psychologists from the West. We have the peculiarity of our situation. Say, make I not go the color of Ogungbami or something like that, or make they go use something, hit me. But remember, just imagine that closing this kind of objection might also mean just having an information repository so that whoever is coming there next has something to. I think we're the one or someone was telling us about how you get into a new route and the first week or the first month is to be begging people, sorry, because the person before has done shit for church, right? And there's no information repository on this particular customer to say, this was what happened, we did promo, but we forgot to give her a bucket and things like that. No repository. And it's because in most sales organizations in Nigeria, we don't use any form of sales tool to record our visits. Let me quickly use the opportunity because I like that question. You see, one of the best, sales is a transferable skill. So today, FMCG, you can carry your sales skill tomorrow and go into tech to go sell. How many of you have thought about selling tech products? There's a lot of money there anyway. Yeah? Okay. So selling tech products. So the thing is that as you guys keep shining, they will come for you. It's because tech is still just growing. Okay? They will come for FMCG and banking salespeople. Because which other industry has very experienced salespeople? You know, FMCG, banking. So when you are selling tech products, for example, you know, it's not like you are going from one store to the other. Most times you are selling B2B. So you are using CRM tools like maybe Salesforce, HubSpot, and the like. And what happens is that for every call you make, you have to always, and some of your calls are phone calls, right? Some of your calls are your actual visit. But in all those CRM tools, you must give next step. It's almost like when you call center, the person you call next might not be the person that we pick. but they have the information about what you spoke with the other person. That's the way sales works, ideally. But you know, the kind of sale that we do in Africa FMCG with mom and pop stores, say na Mama Nkechi, you want to write something, you know, it's possible, but you can't optimize for it. I mean, Nielsen said we have over 1 million, well, you're just too much. But if you go and sell to ShopRite, someone like GD, for example, you go and sell to ShopRite, and you don't want to take note of, in case tomorrow you're not the one going for the visit, somebody needs something to be able to, and that sometimes is a way to close a good conversation. Analyze your call and say, this particular person, if you go there in the next 2 or 3 years, they go use jazz, hit you. That shall not go. That's a way of closing and handling that objection. It's an extreme case, and we always have it, but that's exactly what it is. So, in a nutshell, when you want to handle objection, first you need to acknowledge that there is real and then there is fake objection. And if you want to handle objection, you want to determine the real objections. You want to understand that objection, verify that what you understand is what the person is saying, and then you can handle it based on the new information that you have. And if in a case where you do not have enough information or power to handle it at that time, you can always pack it, reschedule, and come back. Okay? So that's the end of our, I see that, okay. What's that? So what do you want to do? Eh? Oh, okay. But we need to do, okay, let's go. Okay, Pa James, please.
The prospect is a potential one.
This same...
I took my real money there, also there, but he doesn't want to see us, he rejects us. And we need it in our business. Can we consult or inform the regional manager about it so that at least he can go there and see? Probably they can.
Let's hear from Jay. Just 1 second.
The issue is this. If we use the scenario of wife or girlfriend yesterday, you approached somebody, she said no. But you found an opportunity to say, can we study together? And she agreed. Agreed, you are still keeping close touch. Maybe as you study and she's understanding your mathematics, her heart is softened. She gave that option. See, this was a woman that it was even difficult to get appointment to see her. I think she still consults for fun. She's their former national manager. She's a big person. On her table, there is a lot of fan award placards on her desk. So she even gave me virtually like 5 minutes, and she thought, I thought you were coming to talk about Gala, because it's like supreme, no discussion. She's too connected to them now to have conflict of interest, even though she has left. So that's not what you want to keep pushing. But giving me that option of, if you bring your Gala and coconut chips, I can sell. There is an hero. It's not as if she doesn't want to see you there. In your consistent coming with Gala and this relationship will form, you will see openings. Probably they are not here in front tomorrow and you're like, you know, I told you about it. But to say you want to bring somebody to keep pushing, you should, at least at that moment, it may not be the right time. That's
the prospect. Does she has
well, I don't know. I want to marry her.
Let me give it.
Okay.
USC cell guy can pick.
She's a Catholic knight.
If a USC cell guy pick the wife and the daughter to marry,
yeah,
you will break that chip.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to say something.
Women are no means of transaction. I just need to clear that.
HR, okay, you heard that.
Let me say something.
Okay, David, please, let's round up. Sorry, I forgot your name. Our Raymond. We need a Raymond session. Please, okay, while you are rounding up, let's stand up for a Raymond session before we go into. Raymond, you can go around. Yeah.
So this happened. I agree with you. Today's stuff.
Yeah.
You said wait now. In a situation like this, the information is key.
Yeah.
So when I got to Lagos 7 years ago, so I got that information about that woman.
This same?
No.
Okay, another person.
Okay. So she's so loyal to Yomi. So And I've gotten information that like series of managers also have been to her. So that's why I agree with you, that information part, continuity in that information. It might not be James, it might be another maybe 3 sets after James that will maybe later bring the ball. So even when I was in Lagos, other people still wait. She will tell you no for her.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know how the incident just happened between both of us. And immediately I saw that this and that venue, the next night it was there, I just went there.
And was, yeah.
So
that's
possibility
good.
they can still continue keeping on, passing on the information about her, and possibly maybe the next 4 or 5 generations will break through.
And Jide, in understanding an objection, there's something you made mention that I even want to push forward for, to probably close it. So, my first startup, I'm no longer there, but I don't know what they call it in legal. I cannot do anything. It's legal. I cannot do anything competing with them for 10 years. She might have that as well. She might not want to share, but it might be legal. Right? Oh, you are going, you consult for us, but you will not do anything for competition for the next time because they know the amount of information that person, and it happens to a lot of senior people. You will get to that point in your career that you'll be living a particular place, maybe you are retiring, and they will tell you, Oga, for the next 5-10 years. Yeah. And it happens a lot in tech, right? You have intellectual property that you cannot carry that into a competition. Else,
They can't delete it from your brain.
yeah, they can't delete it, but when they start seeing that, it looks like these are traces from Jide or these are traces from David, they will just tell lawyer to serve you later because you've signed it in your exit. So this might be the case. And if it is the case, objection has been handled.
Hello, sir. If an objection is based on
Where is
Raymond,
Raymond?
yeah.
Expectation of something,
Okay.
and you don't have that thing to give.
Then you call,
Like here,
then you call, that's where you reach
and
your
it's beyond your ability.
Yeah, you carry the information.
Know about that.
You get more. See,
Sir, before you answer me,
Yeah.
let me add this one.
please.
When I was covering on my head,
Yeah.
there's this woman, it's one of our customers. We buy our distributor. But when I got to my, I realized that she was doing a drop of the other competitor. And she was asking for 100 cartons of mine, or 200 cartons of mine. I followed her up, pursued her day and night. She showed me evidently what those ones we are doing for him. You say the house I have today is what I got from them. The shop I am, even their MD will come down to bow before me. If I sneeze now, the next day you see their MD in my shop. My brother, I really cannot do that for me. So don't just bother deceive yourself. It will not work. So, adding to that, how do we handle such?
It's a difficult objection that needs your, because at your level you don't have the power to do those things. But if Yemi hears that and this person is very strategic, why not?
What about the situation where the policy of the company is against that situation? Because
I mean, people did policy.
forget about
You know what? Let's focus on how to handle objections, right? There are some objections that for you to handle it. See, this step we did is to get all the information required to handle it. There are some objections that for you to handle it, you need to seek superior, thought, approval, and the like.
There are some objections that you want to solve it by all
after Raymond session, I'll take you, please. Let's do Raymond session. Let's go. So that's at the end of the day, that might just be. That's what I'm saying. That's a way of handling some objection. My understanding from the scenario, which is why I say I want to write a case on it, is that it's looking like if, for example, our goal in that particular territory is to hit a particular market share. You might not be able to hit it without such. I'm hoping that that person is so important and instrumental that if you are not in their store, I don't know, there's a difference between weighted distribution and numeric distribution in fundamentals of selling, right? There are some stores, numerically they are just 1, but weight, they are like 100. So if you are not in that weighted store, you have not won, for that territory. So my assumption is that these people they are talking about are very weighted in terms of your distribution. You have to be there. They have the food traffic, everybody, if it's something like a food co, for example, in Ibadan, you have to be a food co to show that you're in the modern retail in Ibadan. So that's my assumption. But at some point, that might just be what will end it. If, for example, the person has a policy of non-compete for 5 or 10 years, you can't do anything.
If the somebody agrees to buy, she will give you some conditions that you will never meet.
Yeah. So
we have a short story of something like that in Abeokuta.
okay.
We had a customer, just one customer in Abeokuta. And from our estimate, Abeokuta business is supposed to give us an average of 20 million monthly. We had a salesman attached to this distributor, and they were giving us an average of 7 million. Both the distributor and the salesman. And salesman's target is supposed to be 6 million. So we expected the distributor also to make his own sales, not just leaving everything to the distributor, leaving everything to the salesman. After several discussions with the distributor, it didn't change. We now pulled out the salesman. So, because when we pulled out the salesman, we now engaged our own internal salesman to pick stock straight from Lagos here and go and sell in Abeokuta. The customer got angry. After several discussions with him to persuade him to come back to the table, he refused. We closed eye on him. We allowed the salesman. In fact, we even made it 2 salesmen. We brought 2 salesmen. That's him at Abeokuta. And they were giving us an average of 20 million. Do you know what we went and further to do? We got a distributor, another distributor in that same Abeokuta, who now, the customers that for initial distributor had, were now moving to that new distributor. He didn't have choice than to come back to us and start buying. So today now, Abeokuta is giving us an average of 30 million.
Thanks for sharing that example.
You don't say the part where the distributor wants to use
Thanks for sharing that. And for objection handlings, sometimes it's a good feedback. I don't know, somebody said it, I can't remember the person. But it's a feedback for you to even maybe change your route to market or change it. Because it's objection that will trigger something, right? So with your example, I mentioned it helps you change your route to market and you're able to solve it. I mean, you guys, your eyes don't see, huh? Okay, field sales leadership. There's a lot to cover here, but there's a part that I really want to cover. I hope I have some time for it. So, field sales leadership, building high performance team and leading. These are the things I would like to cover, but they also have babies. So let me tell you about field sales leadership. So this is a picture of me as a van sales rep to when I became a key account manager. And many of us have transitioned from here to here. That's why we're here anyway, because you have sold in a van before, or you have sold in the market. You have sold before because you are now leading people. What happens here? So I want to introduce this course by sharing personal story. For many of us, I don't know how we became field leaders, but sometimes there are people that are great salespeople, but they are not great sales managers. Some people say if you want to promote them to manager, they just say, "Oh, Gabek, just leave me where I did." For reason best known to them. And sometimes you see that it's not the person who is eating the numbers. Oh, best in Gala 85 gram. Give it to Mr. A. Then there's promotion. They will give it to Mr. C. Because Mr. C has shown some leadership traits. When you are moving from here to here, the first 3 months, you still be behaving like this. Sometimes more than 3 months. So what happens is that, let me use the Robosa.
I keep chasing him back to
So what happens is that 1 month ago, you wake up in the morning and you want to go and cover 25 stores. You know, all these your customers, you want to ship them. Blah, blah, blah. Then today, you are now a manager managing 6 other people. You don't have customer. All your customers, you are selling through human beings. But no, you still carry van or phone and be controlling others and stuff like that. So on the average, I'm even saying for the best of transitioners, let me use that word, 3 months they are still making order. I did my own like that too. I just love those my customers. I will be like, I know, very passionate. In fact, I remember there was one promotion that I was nominated for, and I declined. And my reason was, no, I'm still learning. But I was just emotionally attached to what I was doing before. And I was also scared of not having the power to do what I want to do. As sales leaders, we're not different from football coaches. No matter how much Zidane is good, when he's at the touchline with Real Madrid, he can be doing his leg like this, he will not enter that field. He needs to score those goals with the 11 players, or win that game with the 11 players he has put on the field. That is the orientation we need to have as field sales. You will not succeed as a field sales leader if you still think like a sales rep. And if you cannot sell through your salespeople. I used to be one of those people that is perceived as a very lazy sales manager. You know why? You will never see me sweating on the field. It's just like you are an army general, but now you dey front, they carry gun, they do. You've left your post of mapping out territories and giving controls, and and this is not being lazy, because this is something that we'll look at. But field sales leadership involves removing the mentality of this van sales rep guy. I use this picture because you can even see that I had to transition. Even my dressing changed. Right?
That's you.
Eh? That's me. Or those are me. You know? It's not Photoshop. Can't you see me selling my Pampers and my Baba Blue? This one? Yeah, it's my board now. Most of you have. Oh, you people use a projector now. We with the right time for board. So this is my board. But, and it was one of our district manager that forced this dressing on us. Or let me say on me. Because, do you see this mentality? Ite. Like Robosa, ite. So, but by the time, and the thing about, I don't know, not putting anybody under pressure, but when I was transitioning from here to here, I also got a company car. But I could not drive, so I have a driver. But you see this sales rep in me, I know even, it was a transition that I could not undo. But then he now started telling me that when you start dressing like this, you won't be chasing kiosk inside market. You now start focusing on your HSM. You now start going to the field to start training your people on how to sell the way you were selling. So a lot of reorientation happened for me. I don't know what stage you are in your transition. Some of you have been managers for a long time, but there are some customers or selling that you cannot leave. You need to handle it, and it's okay. Because there are some customers that if they don't see you, they will not buy. That's just a Nigerian mentality. Okay? And that's fine. But maybe few of them. But it has to be beyond you for growth. And we struggle with it every day in life. If we have left it in one area, there's one other area that you've not left it from. It even happened with our kids. Our natural instinct is to quickly help them to do what they have to do. But at some point, you just watch them fall down. Don't worry, just fall down. You stand up yourself. So that is what field sales leadership entails overall. It entails spending your time to build high performance or high performing team, managing performance and delivering results. Right? This is what you need to do. And just remember that sometimes, no matter how great these two players were, these two coaches were, they cannot enter that field to play. They will have to give instructions to this person. Once in a while, in court, they might have to go and join mouth by fighting the referee. Right? But if Man City is going to win, Foden, Haaland, and the likes will have to score. You have a lot. If I list the responsibilities of a sales manager, it's plenty. It's very plenty. You have to send reports. You are a doctor, you are a nurse, you are everything. But at the end of the day, to show your leadership, you need to build high-performing teams. Why are you here today? It's because your management just felt like, I would rather build a solid, high-performing management, mid-level or management team, because I can't be in every place every time. These people must be, then let's look at your bosses or your managers. They will build a very solid performing team on the field, but they also have some operational work to do by managing your performance. So they might have put some sales operations in place. It looks like Uwa now, they don't drag Uwa, say yourself, go the build team for field. But maybe Uwa used to be the one that will support in who know me targets. I saw some of it in your morning meeting this morning with Jade to say there is a system to just kind of help you manage your performance. And then, of course, to deliver results. So today, my initial plan was we look at what does high-performing team, what does it look like? What does it mean? And I still hope that we have some time to do it. But in the end, so this is me. I didn't copy this one from there. So you might not agree. But this is, at least, I'm the one on the podium today. And these are the skills that I believe field sales leaders need to have. In that order. Number one, you need to know how to sell. Which is why we are doing PSF, objection handling. You need to continuously know how to sell. You see this data analysis. I'm not saying you should be a data analyst. But you need to know how to derive insights from data. Because that's where you can sit down somewhere and give instructions based on insight. You see when I was a sales rep, managers will come to work with me on the field and they will just start saying some things. I'll be like, the last time you came here was 6 months ago. How do you know all these things? They've mined data before they came to your field. They know they know your Naira per store. They'll be telling you, they know your distribution. In how many, because they've seen a lot of Nielsen data, they know market share, they've done the math. They're telling you that if your market share is 50%, it means, or you say your numeric distribution is 50%, it means if I go to 10 stores, I will only find Gala in 5. But you'll be arguing, no, you'll see in all 10. They say, okay. They will not, you want to take them to the route that you have fixed. They not say, no, let's go to a random route. Then you not even see that even Nielsen gave you more mark. It's actually 20%, 2 out of 10. But what am I saying in essence is that for you to really be a leader to your people, you need to bring insight. The only reason somebody is your leader, apart from the one that is forced on you, the only reason somebody is that they have something to offer. They have a deeper insight to give. Immediately you are unable to do that, you are losing your leadership, especially on the field. Then communication. One of my biggest saying is that salespeople know how to sell product, they don't know how to sell themselves. And to sell yourself is communication. How can you manage up? Can you write up? And that was why I like the case Tim Knott did yesterday. Because sometimes we focus on, oh, we are selling to customers. But sometimes you have to sell up. You have to sell internally for more budget, for more support, for more things. And this happens via both oral and written communication. And for most of you, selling up is a lot of written communication because it's not like Ayo has time for everybody. Philip said something yesterday. He said, but I sent you the email. And Oliver said, I didn't see your email. No, but you did not read it, but I sent you the email already. Right?
So,
yeah.
What if you have a line manager that bears you from selling yourself up beyond where he is? Though you are delivering in materials.
Now you want to go into politics.
No, you are number that everybody is seeing. But you are immediate line manager doesn't want you to sell yourself above him. Everything should stop where it is.
Okay. There's a way I answer this question. In your career, you always have a bad manager. At least once. At least once. Add to it.
So, recently, that's why I think we need to also appreciate the effort of the GMC. I'm privileged to know because, of course, we see him every day, we hear from him, we know his plans. He has just arrived and he has put something like this together for us. Sincerely, his plan is to get to know our individual performance. One of the things he has begun to put in place is, if you look at the sales dashboard Osato has created, everyone, he looks at individual performance. If you're covering Lagos North, he knows what Amici is doing. He knows what Oliver is doing. He knows what an individual FSM is doing. So that he begins to know those that are actually performing or not. So irrespective of what whosoever is trying to, lay you down as a matter of fact or whatsoever style or format, the GMC is seeing, he knows what we are individually doing. That is
I'm not talking about me.
I know. I'm just laying
Okay. Let me ask for James.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
So if there is time for promotion, the GM will not come to you. It is that particular top manager will have.
He knows what he's doing.
Once he make a mention of certain things, he might also go back and see.
I get your point. And see, there's no time I talk about this that I don't get this question. So I was expecting it. The truth is this. I used to take a session to talk about my own career. I was very lucky. I moved very fast. I don't know if I've had a bad manager, but in your career you always have one who either you're better than, or because of the company policy, things are not as transparent as possible. But what I always say is that, if you are in a situation or in a culture, a company culture that does not, that allows such to thrive without necessarily taking action, maybe you are not in the right environment for growth. Because some organizations are not structured for growth. Take it or you leave it. And for our sales profession, it is very important that we have a form of growth. either by moving roles horizontally, vertically, or in any. A salesperson, a good sales career needs to change in anything 2-3 years. It might not mean you are being promoted, but you're having an expansion role, or you are learning from a new territory, or you are doing this. Because the salesman's knowledge needs to continue to be dynamic. There are some roles you can, I mean, it's written in the industry. You can't be a GM if you've not done trade marketing, or if you have not led regional, a team, you've not built a solid team on the field. You know, so it's very important. If you are in such situation, or it's not something, that's an internal issue that needs to be solved. But I'm just saying, ideally, communication is very important. It's a very important skill that a 21st century field sales leader must have. How to write very solid emails. Have you ever written an email that you go back and read it and you just fall in love with it? I do. Sometimes I write an email and I'll read it like 100 times. In fact, sometimes I write some LinkedIn posts. I can read it like 10 times. Because that LinkedIn post might have taken me 3 hours to write. And if you go and see it, it might be 2 paragraphs. But every word I chose. And I have a target audience in mind that if you read it, there's no way you will not understand what I'm saying. If you have not got to the point where you write an email either to your people or and you fall in love. I'm not saying all emails will be like that, because it's like album. Not all the single or not all the song on that album will be hit. But you must have one that hits. Right? If you have not gotten to that point where you wrote an email and you be like, no, this one hit. You still have a lot of work to do here. And I'm talking about emails. So your writing game must be on point for a sales leader. Now, business strategy. Business strategy is almost equivalent of your experience. I saw many of you display that yesterday. You know, even from the examples we are giving in class, you have a lot of knowledge. But there is a skill called strategy that as you grow in your career, that might be 80% of what you will be doing. So for example, somebody brings an objection from the field that needs you to change route to market, like what Amechi did in Abeokuta. That's strategic. There's a little bit of operation, but first you need to understand that, okay, what if I remove this and do this and do this? From an experience point of view. So that's also one of it. So these are my own top skills that I think anybody should, like a field sales leader should have. We have, of course, let me sell now. At Tori School of Sales, we kind of look at each of these things and have like tailored courses for them. So like selling, we just did a part of our selling course, for example, for retail sales, which objection handling and PSF, but it's a suite of courses. We also have sales data analysis, which is for you guys for people to just understand the basic. As you grow in your career, you might do less of sales, right? You may do less of analysis. Maybe you have a data analyst that is supporting you, but you need to know how to ask the right questions. And how to say, you know what, this is the insight I'm looking for. Can you rearrange this data to give me the... I might not know how to do it, but I want to know how many people in what region did this and this and this. Or I want to know my distribution of this SKU in this and this and this. Or I'm running an initiative and I want to see the top performers every morning. I may not be the one that will do the VLOOKUP and write all the formulas to be done, but I need to be insightful enough to know, okay, this is how I want to see it. Because many of you, as you grow in your career, you will hire a data analyst. Definitely. But you cannot use that data analyst very well if you don't know. Yeah. So for example, when I was my biggest role, my biggest challenging role was when I was director at Jumia. Of course, as you know, for me, going to Jumia was to transition from core FMCG into tech plus... Jumia is like selling, it's FMCG too, but using technology on online platforms. And you can imagine that selling there means selling online. And so I led Jumia Black Friday in 2019, and we had 1 billion views that month. So 1 billion views is 1 billion data. We had 100 million transactions. So one line item like this, 100 million of it. By category, by this one, by day, by this, by that. And trust me, for some of you that shopped at Jumia, you can see that the price is this amount in the morning, by the afternoon it has changed. Or we are doing slash here, slash there, flash state, this one, that one. Trust me, that is some crazy people like me looking at data and making decisions. And I didn't know jack about data analysis then. But I had some very crazy, new out of school, new out of Unilag and the likes, data analysts. At some point, I had to sit down with them after work. I would say, see, I know I'm director, but you will teach me this thing. How did you pull this? I can tell them this is what I want to see. They will do it. But there are sometimes I want to change things. Do you know that I have to wait till the next day? I just want to change because I want to see it differently. I will wait till the next day. I'm like, teach me how you did this thing. That was when I fell in love with data. In fact, for the first 18 months of building Oris, I was building it on Google Sheets myself, based on the analysis that I've known, insights and stuff like that. So, sales data analysis is very important. The basics, how to manipulate numbers, bring insight out of it. These are things we need to know. And communication, both oral. I mean, oral, we are good, we are salespeople. But written communication, it doesn't have to be an essay. It's just how do you target and know. If you're writing an email to your team or to your manager, how do you look into all of this? So, for me, that's it. So I want to move into this quickly. Here, these are all the things we planned, but we cannot, of course, we cannot. So we will do leading effective sales meeting, which was why I came to Jade Shola's meeting this morning. Yeah. By the way, please, let's give her a round of applause. I think she did very well. She did very well. So the reason I wanted us to work in teams now is, so first, what do you love about the meeting? So let's do a recap. What do you love about Jade's meeting?
One, the numbers.
She tried to engage everyone.
She tried to engage everyone. So, 1 second.
Everybody was carried along.
So, engagement. What else?
It made the sales team to know their performance.
Okay, so performance. You like the performance review, right? Okay. What else do you like about the meeting?
Expectation was well communicated.
Expectation was well communicated. Okay.
Making each individual performance apply it to all the lower performance to tier 4.
Okay. So let me help you put it. So there was top versus low performance review, kind of.
She knows her team member, every one of them, she knows them.
So team knowledge. What do you think she could have done better?
Identify with personal events, birthdays.
Okay, all those admin things. What do you think she could have done better? It's okay. She's a salesperson, so.
The coordination was not that.
Coordination?
Of the team.
Team coordination?
Team coordination. He was observer.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. What else? See, the reason we are looking at this, is that, like I said yesterday, today my plan is that we come out of this session to say this is our skeletal way of running meetings, so that when Jade goes to Uyo tomorrow, and Felix say, yeah, my bad, she can quickly go on, and the teammates I mean, the team people will not even feel any difference because there's a structure, right? So that's where we're going. So what other things will it change? Okay.
Just leave him, bro. Leave him. It's not
He knows the agenda already. Even if I'm not president, you know the agenda already.
Wait now. Please, let him, you know, wait now. Amechi.
No. You know what I'm saying that?
Please.
The four key people in Lagos already know that. They already know the sequence already.
No, David, that I will not accept that one. No.
Don't assume.
I did not accept that one because me.
I'm not assuming the four of us already know the sequence. Just like every day.
Yeah, guys, let's skip to this stuff.
I would suggest let's know what was the initial schedule and let's see.
No, wait now. You all experienced the meetings. Let's look at some of the things that you liked about the meeting. So if tomorrow you want to adopt something, okay, but if there's something you will say, we can improve on, okay, let us also have it.